Hi, everybody. I'm Lori, and welcome to our webinar today, focusing on all things solo travel. This is a popular subject and got the most votes in which webinar you guys wanted to have first. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to talk about solo travel in Antarctica. Also works very similar in the Arctic if you are interested in that as well. And I'll give you some tips and tricks and insider information. If you are new here or new to the Antarctic Experience world, I am Lori. I'm the founder of the Antarctic Experience, which is a travel consultancy basically for thoughtful and curious people just like you. And I am primarily an educator, and I like to think of myself as a connector, as a hub, finding the right partners for people. So if you've been here for a little while, you know we do have travel agent partners and also travel insurance partners, and always looking for more partnerships. But my background is as an expedition guide. I've been working in Antarctica for 20 seasons now. And again, if you are familiar with the group at all, our travel agent partners are also all expedition guides. So they are the only travel agency that is run by current and former expedition guides. So they also spend a lot of time in the field. So we all have kind of our hands on the pulse of what is going on because things are changing constantly. So what I'm going to do is quickly share my screen. I guess it just shares everything. Aha. And hopefully that will see if I can get this bigger. Okay. Just tell me in the chat if you can see that. See what's on my screen. Great. Thank you, Kathleen. All right. So just briefly, to the basics, starting with solo travel. Now, if you are new to solo travel, you might not be familiar with one of these options, but if you have, because they are kind of new to the industry, but if you've been around for a little while, you might have heard of something called a designated solo traveler cabin. So, solo travelers who want their own cabins can either travel in one of these cabins, which tend to be a little bit smaller. I'll show you a picture in just a second. Um, and or you can reserve an entire cabin that is typically meant for two people, but reserve it on your own. So that's one way to get your own cabin if you are traveling solo. But what a lot of people do is they go for the roommate situation, and that is where you would get paired up with someone of the same gender. And this can either be in a twin cabin, but there's also triple cabins, and there's even quad cabins. Now, sometimes people might be wary of doing that. And of course, you do never know who you're going to be paired with. But I would say that the people who are traveling to Antarctica tend to be very similar, like-minded people. And if you have matched with the right operator for you, and they have matched for the right operator for them, then you should get along very, very well. So these are some pictures of what a dedicated single occupancy cabin may look like. They tend to have a twin bed. Like I said, they are often smaller. They might have a porthole. They might have a window. But they are typically only like a handful of cabins on a ship that are dedicated for this. And they do tend to sell out very quickly, even though they are a little bit on the smaller side. So if you do want that twin cabin for yourself, the only ways to do it are to wait for a no solo supplement sale or to pay a solo supplement charge. Now, as a solo traveler myself, it's kind of annoying, and I hope that the world goes more towards not charging solo supplements, but the way that the cruise companies um, they're pricing by bed. And so for them, they don't view it as a per cabin in the sense that we do. You can think of it as you're buying the whole cabin, you're buying both beds in the cabin. And most of the solo supplement rates tend to be 1.7 times or 1.8 times the sharing rate. Aurora has the lowest rate, which is 1.5 times. So a lot of people are looking for no solo supplement sales, and there are some operators that do run no solo supplement sales, so you can find them. And that just means that you would get a twin cabin for by yourself for the price of a per person without anything extra. So when is the best time to book as a solo traveler? Let me just back up just a touch and let you know that because of my couple decades of experience, when I am talking and giving advice, I am thinking about the operators that I would trust my friends and my family with, or I would work for, or my friends work for and are happy to work for. So while you might be watching this and kind of thinking about every single operator that is out there, that might not be, that's not I don't recommend every single operator out there. And I'm biased. Hey, I'm okay with that. Um, I would say out of all the operators out there, there's about 13 or so that we consider our priority operators. They're all under 200 passengers. And again, they're all operators that I would be confident recommending to my friends and family, that I would work for, that I have friends that work for, and I am confident in their staff levels, their safety levels, and their program and their ethos as a company. So just to let you know that, because as I'm talking about this, I might be saying these are these rates or these are these cabins. That's kind of limited to the smaller scope of operators that I am talking about. So when's the best time to book as a solo traveler? Now, I'm going to definitely answer this question, but I want to pop this graphic up in order to partially answer this question. And if you've been in the group for a while, you might have seen this. And it looks pretty complicated, but it's actually, you know, kind of simple once you get into it. The top line here is like, what's your most important priority? And you're going to see me saying this a lot. You're going to see us asking this in the group when someone's like, what's the best operator to travel to Antarctica with? Well, I consider that depends on what your top priority is. I mentioned if you're going to be matched with someone, as long as their priorities are like your priorities and you both have picked the same operator for that reason, you should get along very well. So if budget is your number one priority and you are a solo traveler, um, chances are you're going to be looking for a triple or a quad. And those fill up quickly. Those are very popular. So you would want to be booking a bit earlier. Okay, so that would be something there. If you have something very specific, adventure activities that you want to do, those do also tend to book up. So if you're waiting for like a last minute deal or a no solo supplement sale, um, that might mean not booking ahead, and that could mean sacrificing your activity options, the time of year that you get to go, or your itinerary type. So, kind of jumping, if you want your own cabin, um, you know, your timing is going to depend on a few different things. Um, there are reasons to do it early. There are reasons to maybe wait, but there are sacrifices on both sides there. Now, if you have something very specific, like the time of year you want to go, where you want to go, what you want to see, what you want to do, again, that starts limiting yourself as well. So instead of just being like, I want the best deal possible. Well, of course, we all want the best deal possible. Look for the best value, not necessarily the lowest price, based on your priorities, based on the different priority considerations that are important to you. Sorry, I give my dog a little treat, trying to keep her here, not bugging me. Okay. By the way, this graphic is in the group, so you can find it. You can find it there. And if you are having trouble finding it, just let me know, and I can tag you in it. Okay. So here's some intel from the agent team. So as I said, we are all on board the ship and working, on the ship, and they are also working as polar travel agents. And they said that the trends this season, they found last minute discounting starting more than 6 months before the season. Now, if you are, tracking these things online or in other Facebook groups, you might be seeing like, oh, we've got this great like 50% off deal right now, and it's only limited. Those types of deals, they're always going to be there, but they're going to be like very small and like very limited in what you can choose. But if you're looking for kind of the traditional last minute discounting, um, this year that started early, and they are finding that there were not very many single supplement sales. There are a few going on right now, but they tend to be on ships that are larger than 200 passengers. And we only have a very few operators that we work with that have over 200 passengers that are on our recommended operator list. So they found that more solo travelers that wanted last minute deals decided to share cabins. And what we all are seeing is that there are more and more solo travelers traveling. So on every trip, there's a lot of solo travelers sharing cabins, but you'll find a whole big group of solo travelers. So it's not like, one here and there. So the future recommendations on when to book. Um, I would say, and they agreed with me, is that if you want your own cabin, now this is only if you want your own cabin. If you want to share a cabin, unless you're looking for a triple or a quad, if you want to share a twin cabin, you can kind of get in on that pretty much all the time. You can wait for all the different sales. You can be a lot more flexible. If you're going in and saying, I'm going to share a cabin, then anytime is a good time to book if you find the right match and you find the right price and you find the right company and you find all the things that you want. If you are someone who wants your own cabin, the best thing I can recommend is to focus on early booking deals to grab those solo occupancy cabins. Um, because the companies that have them have only a small number of them and they go fast. And Aurora has done something really interesting. They're very solo traveler friendly. As I mentioned, they have the lowest single supplement in the industry right now. And they have 10 cabins that they set aside on each voyage that sell with no single supplement. They're not discounted, and Aurora does tend to be they're not a discount expedition operator, and they shouldn't be. They have an amazing program, an excellent team, citizen science, a small number of guests, lots of different activities. You get a lot of value, but you can access, if you can grab one, they do sell out fast, one of the 10 twin cabins for no single supplement, but you are paying the full rate, no discounted rate on that. But it is cheaper than paying for the solo supplement fee. And then every year, Aurora has started running a women's only trip every season. They're going to do one of these every single season, and that's going to attract a lot of solo travelers. So that if that trip happens to be at the right time, etc., for you, that might be a good option for you. So, in the group, I'm definitely here to provide as much free education as I can. And we are not here to sell you something, but if you want someone to keep their ears to the ground for you or find the perfect match for you, you can work with our travel agent partners by reaching out via the top link for Antarctica, travel.theantarcticexperience.com/survey. And I can put these in the chat if you want for Antarctica. And then the same with slash Arctic if you want to go to the Arctic, because they can help plan that as well. Or you can email us at bucketlisttobooked@gmail.com. Chances are, if you email us, we're going to ask you to fill out one of these travel matching surveys because of the team. When we get the survey, they'll match you with the right person to work with you. And then that person, once they know what you want, they're going to keep, the radar open for you and guide you in the right direction. Um, and I think I'm going to stop sharing and then answer any of your questions.